This video is going to show Sgraffito carving on the underglazed pinch cup that our Ceramics 1 students are doing as an exercise at my high school. I have an older video in which I have carved this particular pot, but I had some focus issues, so I'm redoing the video so you can see it a little bit better. I did just have another video where I showed the application of the underglaze, and it was this black one, but I am going to be carving this lighter colored one because I thought it might be easier for you to see the carving on a light color as opposed to on the black color. My students do have sketch sheets that they were using to come up with some ideas before they start their drawings. If you are doing something which requires maybe a template, like if you wanted to do circles or something, I have a bunch of drafting templates that are hanging up underneath one of my shelves over by the light booth in my classroom. Templates are great because you can just trace right on them. I want to talk a little bit about some of the tools that I utilize. The triangle tip tools are among my favorite tools to use for the Sgraffito carving. The triangle tip tools have a nice precision to the tip where when you carve you can get a nice straight line. These are the Kemper tools. I will have links in the video description for you that you can look at. The flat-ended ones, like I kind of say it's like a rectangle almost. The flat-ended ones are great if you have maybe a larger area, say like on this pot where I had this larger area that maybe I wanted to carve it away. Those are really handy. And if you have something where you wanted maybe more of a rounded line, these rounded end mini ribbon tools are great. I also have a few other, it looks like it's a Dolan tool. These are really great. I don't have nearly as many of these. And then if you have a really broad area, of course you can use, a larger loop tool. I have loop tools of various sizes that you can use. Some other tools are the double ball stylus tool. So it's almost like a needle tool, but you can see it actually has a little ball right there on the tip of it. The double ball stylus tool kind of pushes the clay out of the way, and it does leave little burrs that you might have to clean. Another great tool is you could actually carve with a pencil. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of tricks. If you are doing, say, a repeat pattern, so like on a repeat pattern like this, where I need to make sure that the pattern comes out, the trick that I use is I first of all will mark on the bottom. I will break it up into halves first, and then I'll go equal amounts. So let's say if I wanted to do sixths, I'm going to break up that half into thirds, and then I'm going to go straight across from that, break it up into a third and a third, and that's fairly close. So I make little hash marks on the bottom of the pot. I'll show you. Okay, that enables me to be a little bit more accurate, I should say, with my distribution of the pattern. So I am going to recommend that you can use a pencil to draw out your design. So I am going to lightly draw my design in pencil. Now, if you make a mistake in pencil, I can't really erase it, but I can ignore it because the pencil is not going to show up when it's fired. The pencil will burn out. You do not have to have the lines drawn in pencil before you start. You could freehand it if you would like. Now, with the guidelines of the pencil, I'm going to go ahead and trace over my lines, and you can see how utilizing this triangle tipped mini ribbon tool will give you a nice clean line. nice thing about these lines is it's really removing the clay instead of just pushing it. Using another tool like a pencil or a ball stylus, it just pushes the clay, which is fine. You can still use it, but then you have to clean the lines, because if it pushes the clay, it inevitably will make a little burr, which if you have a burr alongside a line, you will need to clean it, or else you'll have a sharp spot. Now, all of this stuff that gets on my turntable, I do try to knock that off of there so I'm not accidentally getting the cup in more areas. All right, now that you've seen how I've done the basic line, I'm going to go ahead and carve a little bit more, and I'll show you how I can use some tools to create some varied line widths on this. If you do have burrs, I recommend a dry, stiff bristled brush to knock those burrs off. Now, you can see the difference. This line I just carved with a pencil. This line I carved with the triangle tip tool. You can see there's a much cleaner appearance. I wanted to show you what carving with a pencil looks like. You can do it, but again, it just takes more cleanup. I find that these tools are faster when you don't have to clean it up nearly as much. You want to make sure that you dust off any burrs that you may have on there, and of course be careful with the dust. You don't want to breathe dust in, so clean it up with a wet sponge when you get it on your table, and a mop when you get it on the floor. Sgraffito can be done on any type of clay, really. You just have to make sure that your underglazes are appropriate for, if you have high fire clay, that you have a high fire and underglaze. These underglazes, the velvets, pretty much go mostly high fire. Some of the reds and oranges I do have trouble. I don't take those to cone 5 or 6. This is an earthenware clay body, and it will get bisque fired, and after bisque firing I will dip it in clear, and then it will get fired a second time, and it will have a shiny appearance after it is in clear glaze. And that's how you carve a Sgraffito cup.